everyone, welcome to another episode of the Cubica AMF Tech Tip Podcast. This is the weekly podcast where we take you on a journey through the fascinating world of bowling technology and beyond. As always, I am your host, Orly, and we have a very special guest today, V LeVine. V, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Orly. How are you today?
I'm doing good. So I'm doing great, actually, not just good. So for those who may have not have heard you on the show before, can you let everyone know your name and your title with the company?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is V, and I used to work in tech support, but I'm now in the training department. I am an online trainer and documentation specialist.
Yeah, and one of the cool things is, like you said, you used to work in tech support, so you're able to cover a lot of these shows with us, and we definitely appreciate you coming on and helping us out with that.
Absolutely, anytime. You can always ping me, and I'll happily do a podcast with you, Orly.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. So, V, what we wanted to talk about today was, and we covered this. It's been a little bit, and it's really an important thing. So we kind of wanted to go over it again, and it was the importance of updating your Conqueror system. First, I guess I'll ask you if you could just kind of let us know, you're going to go a little bit more in detail of, some of the things that it might help by doing the update. But can you just kind of give us an overall, just the reason it's so important to do it? Not the details yet, but just kind of why it's important to update Conqueror.
Absolutely. I think the most important reason to me is our R&D team works hard to, one, fix any bugs that we've noticed in previous, iterations of Conqueror. That's why we released new versions of it. And also they just add new features for you. And if you're paying for Conqueror, I feel like you would want the most safe, secure, and updated version that has a bunch of new features that people have worked really hard to make.
Yeah, and just like with anything else, whether it's even your simplest TV nowadays, my living room TV, every once in a while I turn it on and it's like, hey, there's some updates. Would you like to, update? And I think that's one of the important things. There's a lot of times you're like, I just want to watch TV now. I'll do it later. And, then again, I'll do it later. I'm guilty of that even. I hope IT isn't listening, but every once in a while, my computer says snooze or update now, and I'm like, I'm going to snooze it for now. But I do know that it is important to get that done because you don't want to keep overlooking it and there's something important that it could have helped and it causes a bigger issue. So, yeah, I'll just kind of let you go from here and just kind of give some other reasons on why it's important to update Conqueror.
Yeah. I think, like I said earlier, one of the biggest things, even if you notice that there isn't a big, new, exciting bells and whistles feature that was given to you with a new update of Conqueror, there's a lot of things that go on in the back end. Most importantly, security fixes. Like, when there is a new version, you're on the safest, most up-to-date one, and it can prevent a lot of vulnerabilities that being on older iterations of Conqueror or older iterations of Windows 11 that's out there. That's one of the biggest reasons why I think it's so important to stay updated is from a safety perspective. Okay. So that's why we are really pushing to get those Windows updates in, those Conqueror updates, but just make sure you're doing it at a good time as well, because some updates might take just a couple of minutes, some updates might take longer, and you also just never want to put yourself in a position where you're running leagues, you have a full house, something goes wrong, and the fix of the issue is you need to update either Windows, Conqueror, or both, and you're in a place where you just have to, but it's going to be sacrificing some sort of business aspect for you because you have people in your establishment. So we do recommend doing these either, Friday night after you're closed or, in the morning with an hour or so before you open. That way it can mitigate any of those problems. And just, make sure to remember that Conqueror and Windows, they do work in tandem with each other. So if you're upgrading one, make sure that you upgrade the other one. Because there's a possibility that if you're really ahead on one and behind on the other, that's going to cause the programs to become out of sync with each other, and one of them or both might not end up working. So just, if you're upgrading Windows, check your Conqueror upgrade. If you're upgrading Conqueror, double check for Windows. Whenever you have time to do those upgrades, just kind of back to back them to make sure you stay up to date on everything. And it will save you time in the long run, because if it gets to a point where you are so far behind on something, the likelihood of you having to call tech support is going to increase. And It just might take longer in that moment versus just staying on top of it. And then you can avoid some calls, and you also know that your system is safer and has all the new bells and whistles that we offer.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. Like I said, even like your everyday stuff you use around your house, you want to, you're paying for this. So why not get the best out of it and get all the updates and make sure it's all running smoothly?
Absolutely.
So the updates usually pop up when you log on to Conquer. If someone, let's say a staff member's logging in and they're just hitting snooze or whatever the option is, or do it later, and you kind of didn't see that and you don't realize it, where can they go just to check to see if there's some updates? And maybe it's their weekly thing they want to check on Fridays, and they want to go in there and see if there's an update that maybe somebody snoozed. Where can they go to find that?
In Conqueror, if you go to the utilities section, there'll be an option for internet update, and in there it will let you know if you have a Conqueror upgrade that you're able to do.
Perfect. Well, V, I appreciate you coming on today as always.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yeah. And for everyone else out there, thanks for listening to the Cubica AMF Tech Tip Podcast. We're here each week to support centers like yours with expert advice and the latest in bowling innovation. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and be sure to share this podcast with your team, coworkers, or anyone who could benefit. Until next time, we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.